which is a struggle for, I know, it's a struggle for me too. Because I like to know when I walk into things how it's going to go, have it all planned out. That's the way I do my life. My life is organized by calendar. I got to be here at a certain time, there at a certain time. And before you know it, I am so busy doing stuff that I've forgotten about my time with God. And I can be doing things for God and yet turn around and I'm still not spending time with Him. And it's an easy thing to do. Well, I mean, if we're all honest, we've all been there. If we're not there now, we will be. It's easy to go into our life and just say, God, I just am tired. This is hard. This Christian life is hard. Why is it so hard? What if I just quit? What if I just stopped? What if I just took some time off? I need me time. Well, unfortunately, me time too often will go into bad time because it was always about me for most of my life. But what if we lived each day of our life as though we were dying? What if we lived each week and planned each moment of every day as though what the Bible said was true? That everything in this life we're going to have to give an account for. Everything will determine what rewards we're given on the other side. How would that change your focus? How would that change the way you approach every day? How would that change the way you approach your day timer or your calendar or your money? If I lived like I was dying. Now, some of us have investments. When you invest things, you're planning for the future. Okay? Whether you got an IRA with a couple $100s or a couple $1,000s in it. Everything, it's set away, it's done. You make it a point to put it away so that you can plan for the future. Our future is our eternity. And yet I wonder, do we live like we were dying? Because in reality, we are. Every day, we're one step closer. Some of us, it really doesn't depend on your age. Some of us may not even be here next year. I know, a morbid subject. Sounds depressing. Let me change and give you God's perspective. It's not a matter of how much time we have left. It's what we do with the time we have. That's God's perspective. So I can build up my treasures and I can take my time off and I can do my vacation thing. But I want to take God with me. I want, like Steve said, to come back at the end of the summer and say, man, I am closer to God because of my relationship with Him than I was before I started. So, there are going to be two questions today. First question is kind of a look back. Second question is a look forward. First question is, if we're talking about death, what has died in your life since the beginning of the year? Do you understand the question? What has died in your life since the beginning of the year? I'm not talking about people, I'm not talking about pets. I'm talking about me individually. What has died in my life? Second question. What are you going to do during the summer when things slow down, when it's easy just to take a Saturday off and go to the beach or go to the lake, and then one Saturday goes into the next, and before you know it, You haven't been in community, you haven't been in church, and how are you going to grow in your relationship with God? What does that look like? So, I told you. It's a different day, different talk. Not really something that was planned. But I'm pretty convinced when Steve pulled out his paper and showed me what he was writing last night, that this is what we were supposed to talk about. So, what would it look like if we lived as if we were dying? If everything that we did today, we're going to stand before the Father and He's going to say, man, you missed the opportunity. Or He said, man, I'm so proud of you. Well done. You embraced that. You showed that. My love in the middle of that. What would that really look like? So, those are the questions. 1, 2, 3. Yeah? All right, so, how do you walk away from right here and take it with you? Or is this just another good thing to talk about? It's like, I can get on with my life, did my God thing, check out, go tomorrow, hit church, and then I'll come back on Saturday and we'll talk about something else. But nothing changes. How does that happen? How can we change that? All right, so God is calling us out. He wants so much more than you can possibly imagine. So much more from you and so much more for you. And my fear is that as I get these glimpses of what it could look like, we've all had them. That time that we feel God is so close, but so much of our life is just doing life and living. And I'm afraid that if we don't move in, if we don't push forward, if we don't surrender, if we don't say, okay, God, I'm willing to do whatever it is you ask me to do, I want to go out, and I want to do those hard things. And I want to be going upstream when the water's rushing underneath me. And I declare today that I am not going to walk out of here the same as I walked in. I'm going to take this with me. I'm going to live each day as if I'm dying. Or better yet, I'm just going to start with one day. One day, today. God, let me live today as if it were my last. Open my eyes and let me see. Just try one day. God, I'm going to give you this day. And I got stuff I'm going to do, and I'm going to be having a good time this weekend because it's Memorial Day weekend, but today I'm going to have a good time. But I still want to live this day as if it were my last. And how can you change me that way? And then show me. Show me. Okay, let me pray.